Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Spotlight series. Today, I am joined by two amazing women. I am joined by Lindsay. Lindsay is a grief coach who is a certified and intuitive Reiki master and certified in somatic therapy. She's also a best-selling author, and she's one of the co-founders of Soul Revival, which we're going to be talking about today. And we also have Autumn. Autumn is a gifted intuitive psychic medium. She's a believer in miracles and co-founder of Soul Revival Community, whose transformative healing journey emerged from overcoming deep trauma. Thank you both so much for coming on Spiritual Spotlight series. I'm so happy you're both here.
Thank you for having us.
Feel free to
Thanks,
talk whenever.
Rachel.
Woohoo! And so for
I'm,
today, we're going to be talking about soul revival and how Akashic work played such a key part in the journey. We're also going to touch a little bit about like Autumn and Lindsay's personal journey, but let's just kick it right off, ladies. And whoever wants to take the lead, please do. Let's begin with the heart of your journey. Actually, we'll start with Autumn. Autumn, can you maybe share what initially sparked your spiritual awakening?
Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Okay, so I would say I was always very spiritual as a child. I just didn't realize what was happening. But back in 2018, my best friend had passed away. So after he had passed, I started hearing from him on the other side. And I was getting a ton of messages. I was definitely hearing specifically from him. And I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so much more to life. I think tapping into that energy invited my inner child to feel safe and seen again. So, long story short, I became an angel Reiki master and really dived into my mediumship abilities. I love Reiki healing, everything about it. I think completely has changed my demeanor as a person. And yeah, I think just hearing from my best friend that first time and seeing his messages and helping him along this journey or helping me along this journey has really helped. Just every day is a work in progress when it comes to spirituality. So.
So true. And Lindsay, how about for you? What initially sparked your spiritual awakening?
I would say I was always pretty spiritual on some level. I might not have been as cognizant of it or what it meant until I kind of had like the huge blow up of my awakening, I would say. But I mean, as a kid, I would always connect deeply with animals on a whole nother level. After my grandparents passed, I definitely had a knowingness that I could call on them for help with things. But the big pivotal moment for me was when my husband passed away in 2020. That was just completely transformational. Definitely the closest person to me in so many ways. And yeah, and so I know that I needed that level of loss to undergo the shift. It's definitely my why. But yeah, that was absolutely a game changer. I always say that it put my spiritual journey on steroids because it was just like rampant way up.
Well, two things, and I'm going to ask Lindsay another question. One, I have heard and I have read, and I do believe this, that when we have traumas, that becomes rocket fuel for ascension. So when things happen to us, losing your best friend, your husband, like I lost my brother, like it's definitely like, woo, hello there. But
Yeah.
Lindsay, your book, The Enduring and Everlasting, is such a beautiful testament of grief and love. How did the channeling that experience deepen your healing and intuitive abilities?
Oh, I love that. So it's very interesting. I actually started getting signs about writing the book, and I say writing loosely because, like you said, it was really channeled. But I started getting signs about it pretty early on after Roger passed. I mean, even though as most signs, like it was a soft lob here and there, and then boom, 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 boom. You just get hit rapid fire after that. But I started getting signs about it pretty early on, and you're right. It was definitely a huge part of my healing journey as well, because one of the tools I used to write the book was even when Roger was in hospice, I journaled everything. I journaled our conversations and all the things because we were both getting divine downloads when he was in
Yeah.
hospice.
Wow.
And that journal ended up being foundational to writing the book. And it was amazing, like all of the signs that I document every sign that I get every day. I still do. I always will. And going back and seeing all the phenomenal signs along the way as I was channeling the book was just so beautiful in my healing journey, and also allowed me to see the intentionality of how signs and messages layered together in a way that maybe I was too excited in the moment to even
Mhm.
recognize. So it was huge. Yeah, absolutely huge in my healing journey.
Oh, I love that. So you guys both you've co-founded this beautiful community called the Soul Revival. The name of it is very powerful. What does it personally mean to each of you, and how was it born? Autumn, if you want to take the lead.
So I think my mission here on earth is to invite people back to their soul self, to find that joy. And I think that the soul revival literally speaks that. And the energy of the words are felt in the heart chakra when you are reading the title of that as well. I think that my mission is to remind people they don't have to take life so seriously, right? It can be fun, it can be adventurous. You can talk to your angels and have conversations, and it doesn't need to be something more than it is. I think that having a sacred space where people can just be themselves and trust in us and have the faith in themselves to heal is my mission. So the Soul Revival is a great place and a great name for that calling.
And Lindsay, how about for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the soul revival represents duality, which I think is so present in our humanness. It is truly the sunrise and the sunset at the same time, and the ability for us, even though we might have sunsetted part of our journey as we knew it in the physical realm, so i.e., our connection with somebody in the physical form, we have the opportunity through the sunrise to recognize a deeper connection and to realize that that love never dies. It just shifts form. And when we connect into that energy, there's deep, deep healing available in the grief, no matter what the grief is, whether it's a grief of a person, an animal, grief of a social situation that we might have hoped for. I think there's so much grief in society in general right now. So to me, the soul revival represents a pathway to recognizing the sunrise and sunset can coexist at the same time.
Oh, I love that. I respect that. That's because we're always transforming. We're always going through something. That's very, very interesting. So, Lindsay, how did Akashic Records work enter your life, and what role has it played in shaping the vision of your community?
Yeah, absolutely. Akashic Records have been such an important part of my journey, and it's so interesting. It's one of the things that I was called to almost immediately after Roger passed. Really interestingly. So divine timing and nothing's an accident, right? So I would say probably maybe 3 or 4 months before he even passed,
Wow.
I had started seeing this Akashic coach, reader showing up on my LinkedIn feed of all places, not Facebook, not Instagram, my LinkedIn
I need to
feed.
get out on LinkedIn more.
No, I mean, but that just goes to like how divinely led this is, right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
showing up on my LinkedIn feed, and her energy, her content just really resonated with me, and I was just very drawn to it, and it caught my attention, and so it created a recognition for me. And after Roger passed, and she was in London actually, but after Roger passed, I saw, and this was probably within like a few weeks of his passing, I saw a post that she had made, and it had 3 different tarot cards, and they were upside down, and you had to pick the one that resonated. And
Yeah.
I clicked on the one that resonated, and then later that day she posted what it meant, and it was literally my whole, like, what I was going through, the loss, your shift, like your awakening journey, your expansion through, hard times. Like, it just was so exactly what I was in. And I was like blown away by the accuracy of this card, and knew that that was a pull, that
Yeah.
I was meant to go that direction. And so I reached out to her and did a Zoom with her just to test her energy with mine. We deeply resonated with each other. And she had never worked with somebody in grief. She had never worked with somebody trying to connect with somebody on the other side. I mean, I already was getting
Yeah.
signs, connection anyways. I mean, I literally got signs from him the moment he passed, but it cracked me wide open. I definitely think it collapsed time around my ability to connect. And so often, and it was very interesting because she'd never had, we represented a lot of firsts. Roger and I represented a lot of firsts for her as well, because he was so present every time we'd go into the records. And she told me he was on my high council, which is very rare for a loved one on the other side. But it just helped break me wide open. And I would say that almost like after every session, during every session, he was very present. And after every session, I would have like huge signs. Some of them just, I mean, just beyond. He actually physically presented himself after one session with her. So it was transformational early in my journey. And definitely, I think as all things do when we're on an awakening path or just deepening our connection with, God, source energy, the pieces that need to play that to be in place specifically for you and your energy. And I think that's important because it's not the same for everybody. But the things that are meant to be for you and your energy, they're gonna keep tapping you with it. And like I said at the beginning, you're gonna get like little taps, and then they're gonna be like big knocks on the
Yeah.
door if you're not listening.
So true. They do say the Akashic Records will come knocking for you when it's time for you to open them up. So I love that.
They did for me for sure.
What for you, Autumn? Like,
Rachel, well, I'm very knowledgeable about the Akashic
yeah.
Record, but I have never actually done work with another client or a teacher. I have done deep meditations myself
Yeah.
and explored it myself, but
Nice.
that's why I'm really interested about this podcast today, to just be like the outsider looking in, and seeing what comes from it.
Absolutely. The thing that I love about the Akashic Records, and for anyone that's not familiar with it, it's your soul book. So anytime your soul has incarnated, it doesn't even have to be in a physical form. It can be like I'm on Pladia or I'm with the Arcturians or wherever. So I can go and I can tap into that record of every single time that my soul has come to some sort of a life. And then we can journey on that. We can do healings on that. We can find where did us as healers, we get imposter syndrome, we don't want to charge our worth, we don't want to be seen, we have all of these things and just as healers, that comes up. You can actually find those loops in your Akashic records, and you can do energy healing on it to actually remove that and infuse a more empowered direction to go with your life and how you move forward. And I think that's what I love so much about the records, is that anything that has been, anything that's currently, anything that will be, that's the records. So if you want to go connect with your future self, best place to go is the Akashic Records. You want to go back to, I really feel drawn to Lemuria. I'm not sure why I feel so drawn to it. Maybe you spent a lifetime there. Well, let's go explore. Let's go have some fun, and see what's going on. And it's a gentle but yet powerful thing to do. And it's never like, that's what I like about it, because I think sometimes we get, this judgmental side. It's never judgmental. It's more like a hey, hey, you, like maybe you want to turn left here. Like, and I'm sorry, I have one more thing to say. I will say it is funny when you are reading someone else's records and they have like spicy guides, because that's that your client's personality, and they're very spicy. And then the guides that are coming are like, listen, sister. And I'm like, I know this is you. Like, because you get that flavor, because that's how your guides, your team is going to actually communicate and bring forward that message. So it's a way that you can understand it. And Lindsay, I really appreciate you saying that your energy will dictate kind of what needs to come to you. Like my healing path didn't start with the Akashic Records. I start with energy healing, similar to you guys. And then I went into doing like crystal healing and then Akashic Records. So I love how it all blends together. And it definitely calls you, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thought I was going to be like an herbalist and all, like, your girl can't grow plants. So it's just not going to happen. Like, but I had that dream, but I have a friend who's an herbalist. That's all that matters. Like, you know what I mean? It's funny how these things definitely kind of like call to you and what's meant to be for you. I do truly feel that you're going to get that message and you're going to be like guided to it. And it is going to get loud. And then eventually it's going to smack you in your face. It's like, hello, stop repeating these patterns. Like, so much. I get very excited about the records in case you can't tell. I love the records.
No, 100%. And I would just say to piggyback on what you just
Yeah.
mentioned, I feel like the records are so foundational. To me,
Yes.
it's like it's such a great starting point, no matter
Yeah.
where you're at on your journey, just because it does layer into every other modality. For example, like when you were talking, I was thinking about I had a deep knowingness when Roger passed that the part of the reason that the weight of it was so heavy was because we were in other lifetimes together.
Yeah.
And records were, I would say, the first phase of me validating that. Of course, I like my soul knew it, but
Yeah.
I did get validation of it through the records. And then that led me, like that, like pull of that string led me to doing past life regression work. So I feel like the records can be a powerful tool to
Yeah.
showing you other areas that you might want to explore, not only for your own soul's journey, but if you are a healer, it might help like pull you the right direction for any modalities you're meant to uniquely mix together to help service clients that resonate with your energy too.
Absolutely. And I will say, I have found that by opening up the records, when I'm doing energy healings, I'm able to pull a lot more messages than I normally would in just like a regular channel of doing an energy healing. So it for me, it kind of opens up a wider set of an energetic stream that I can pull from. It's like, okay, well, I'm getting this when before I may not have received that. So that's what I do like the records. But I do want to ask Autumn, or both of you guys, you both bring intuitive and healing gifts into your work. How do you blend your abilities when working together in sessions or programs? Dun, 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 dun.
Lindsay, I'll let you start with this.
Oh, I mean, honestly, our energies are so complementary. It's like, it's crazy. I think we're both extremely high vibrational. We both are all about like love and light energy. I feel like there's just a natural ebb and flow. Like we literally don't have to talk about it. We don't have to plan it. Everything has just like vibed perfectly together. It's honestly kind of hard to put into words because it is so divinely driven. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like we light each other up. And so therefore we light up the people that are in our energy.
Yeah.
I would say that we are both very high vibrational. I'm probably more grounding energy than Autumn is. So we complement each other really well in that way. But we're both creators and we're both so open and tapped in. And I think like when you're in a community with people that resonate with you and other healers, and especially if you just have a phenomenal energetic match. I mean, Autumn and I have talked about it. We literally wouldn't want to do this community with anybody else, and
Aw.
like I can say that and it just like, and I feel it deep in my soul. But whenever you're with each other too, you raise each other's vibration. And I've noticed this when I'm in proximity with anybody who's like on a deep spiritual journey, whether it's people in our community, obviously, of course, Autumn, other healers that we bring into the community. There is this beautiful synergy that happens that just raises everybody in the community's energy as well. The more people you bring in, it's like this, it's really truly the rising of the collective. And I believe that all this really matters. Like our community is the power of that group, and that group magnetizes the power of the collective. So long answer, but that's my answer to your question.
No, it's a great answer. I love it. I love it.
I second everything Lindsay says. She's definitely more grounded, keeps me here. I think together we work as a whole, right? What something that I may not be knowledgeable in, she has the knowledge in, or she has the healing ability in. We just complement each other very, very well. She's the sun, I'm the moon. I'm just kidding, but that's sometimes how I feel, and it's such a pleasure to work with Lindsay, and to bring this community together to really help the collective consciousness rise up and really be okay and accepting of all parts of themselves.
Right. I love that. That's beautiful. So, as co founders, how do you maintain energetic balance and collaboration while navigating both business and spiritual growth? Lindsay, take the lead.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a natural ebb and flow with that as well. It's so interesting. So we actually both were about to launch a community separately, and I had done some analysis of the astrology, and the date that I had picked to launch was around spiritual growth that actually is meant to continue through. It was a cycle that would begin March 30th and it would continues through 2034. So it
Wow.
was very intentional. Yeah. And Autumn had done research and she had a launch date that was like within a week and a half of my launch date. Anyway, Spirit tapped both of us. It was like, you're supposed to be doing this together. And it goes back to the point I just made a minute ago that like there's so much more energy behind us doing this together. And I think both of us now have such an extensive network of other healers that resonate with us, which is amazing. I mean, we're here, especially as women, we're here like to empower each other and give each other a platform to have our voices heard and to help everyone heal. And I think it's so important to never be threatened by other healers that even might be in the exact same vertical as you. We all have a very specific calling, and our energy is going to resonate with the people that are meant to be in our aura, in our space. And we have an open invitation to those who do resonate with us personally, to the community, which I think brings it to a whole nother level. It's just we're very open and inclusive, and I think both of us, and like the way that we are bringing people in as members of the community, because we've got people at all different levels of their spiritual journey. I mean, we've got people who clearly are being called as a healer and know their exact path, but maybe need a little help and guidance getting there, or just want to be like, to your point about having a complex about not believing, imposter syndrome, not believing in your own abilities. Sometimes just having that additional layer of support is what you need. But then we've got people who are very early on their journey. So no matter where you're at on your journey, like I feel both of us have been called to provide a safe space, a really truly safe space where everybody can openly share and be authentically themselves and be vulnerable.
I love that. Autumn.
Yes, I think that, well, first it's trust, right? A lot of trust. And I have so much trust for Lindsay. Um, as she had stated before, we are on an abundant planet. There is enough room for everyone to have whatever they would like, as long as they do the inner work. And on our platform, we encourage other healers, all forms, all different modalities, to come in and kind of share their tools to help those people that need that extra boost. Because maybe, Reiki healing isn't for someone, but Akashic work is,
Right.
or vice versa. And they'll get the little snippets and the tools that they need in order to grow, because something is destined to fit, as long as they try what they need to try to get where they're going.
I love that. So, Autumn, you describe yourself as the heart restoration goddess, a title full of soul. What personal transformation inspired this sacred identity?
So I am one that has experienced a very challenging childhood, from abandonment to, both my parents experiencing just a lot of trauma. And I feel that I was able to heal myself from the inside out with the belief that love exists. And I call myself the heart restoration goddess because goddess is like a guide, right? It's divine feminine energy. And I hold a sacred space where people can tap into that and heal themselves from the inside out. And I think that it's a lot of people hold shame and they hold a story as if that defines them. And I'm here to empower them that what happens to you does not define you, and you are so much more than you could ever imagine. What has happened to you is sometimes lessons and sometimes unimaginable, but that doesn't take away from your soul self and your highest self. And I introduce the inner child to the highest self, to where you are now, and I integrate and bring it all together, and I just infuse them with the love that they have been looking for inside of themselves to then begin to grow and heal the way that they need to.
Oh, that's beautiful. I really love how you just said that. That is beautiful. And Lindsay, what has been the most surprising thing you discovered about yourself since stepping fully into your healer's path?
Ooh, I don't know. I just have to say, I just absolutely love what Autumn just said. What? I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
I know, it
I'm
was like,
so
ah, good
connected
answer.
by her beautiful story.
It was very beautiful. And it reminds me of my own, like going through a lot of trauma as a child, with my family and everything. And it's like, yes, but you can navigate through it and you can feel love and you're not alone. And I think that's beautiful and vulnerable, Autumn, that you're able to share that and also now empower others to find that within themselves. I think that's truly beautiful.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay.
Back to
And also,
Lindsay.
sorry, and
Yeah,
also
back to
full
Lindsay.
circle back to the duality piece that we mentioned at the beginning too.
Yes. Now I'm like, where was I? Oh yeah, Lindsay. What has been the most surprising thing that you've discovered about yourself since stepping fully into your healer's path?
I guess that not only could I deeply connect myself like with Roger and my animals on the other side, but that I 1000% have that ability to do that for others as well. I think, early in my journey, because it was all about honestly survival. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, I had deep suicidal ideation when I was really deep in my grief, which I think we need to have conversations about
Yeah.
and normalize. And with that came my soul's purpose and drive to survive as a result. And I know Roger was doing everything he could to keep me physically here as well, which I am incredibly thankful for. And I think because I was so focused on that survival and that need for connection and expansion of our relationship and deepening of our communication and relationship with him on the other side, I didn't really even care. I mean, that verbiage sounds bad, but like I didn't really care about connecting for other people at that time. But when I took some of the trainings that I have, like the intuitive Reiki program that Autumn and I both have been through, as well as some other trainings, I was like, holy cow, because I had, quite a few volunteers and they were all over the globe. Because I got volunteers from a community that I'm in, and I didn't know anybody. I only knew their first name and what country they were in. That was literally it. And the things that were coming through during these practice sessions was like crazy. And I was getting so much validation. And so it was like, I think that is like the biggest thing for me was like the aha of like, oh, wow, no, I'm like, this is the reason, like, I'm supposed to be doing this for other people, not just myself. And it's not like I ever would want to be a medium. I certainly do bring through mediumistic messages when I'm working with both humans and animals. But I let, the mediums be the mediums. I mean, Autumn's a medium, and I mean, there's so many amazing people that focus just on that. But for me, it's using that intuitive knowledge to guide the direction of the healing that we're doing from a grief perspective.
I love that. I will say that you are correct in the fact that we do not talk enough about suicide and suicide ideation and what it, one, as a person that has experienced that, and two, as a family member or a friend or somebody that's lost someone to suicide, and how that blowback is to that person and what the grieving process is. And it can be a very traumatic, even people that, I'm speaking from personal experience, like my mom, she was institutionalized at a young, when we were really young because of suicide attempts. And so it's like, it's interesting, like, but we never were able to talk about it. I remember like going, this is off topic, but we went to Po Folks, this is in Georgia, even though it's not open anymore, it's the best restaurant ever. But she had scars on her for where she tried to commit suicide. And I was like, what happened there? And my grandma kicked me on the table, was like, don't talk about that. And it's just like, wow, like, and looking back at that, I wish I would have been a moment of like, hey, like, how's my mom doing? Like, what is she going through? She's currently institutionalized. Like, what is this? What is this like? So it is something that as healers, we are able to help, not necessarily, there's also professional guidance and where you need a counselor, you might need a doctor, you might need something else. But there is space for healers that can help people that are maybe navigating some of these murky waters that some people just aren't comfortable with speaking about, you know,
Yeah,
that can be very
absolutely. And I
difficult.
think just, sorry to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
go ahead.
Just having the conversation because like you just pointed out, there's an additional layer of loneliness that
Yeah,
also creates another layer of overwhelm related to the grief when you think you can't talk about
yeah,
something. And so just having these conversations and normalizing that, yes, like you're going to have thoughts of wanting to be on the other side if you
yes,
lost somebody that's extremely close to you. And it doesn't have to be a human. I mean, there are plenty of people I work with who've lost animals. I mean, our
yes.
animals can be as
They're,
pivotal to our
our
lives.
animals are family too.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know Absolutely, it's so true. You're 100% correct. It's interesting. I recently connected with Penelope Smith, who's the grandmother of animal communication, and she talks about, I don't know why I put in quotations, she's lovely, amazing. Interview goes on Thursday. But she, like, honestly, like, she was just like, no, like, and they're all different souls and they're all different beings. Like, we're basically souls living in a human body. An animal is the same thing. It's a soul living in an animal body, regardless if it's a spider, a whale, or a dog. Like, they have their feelings, and we're very connected to our animals. And you're 100% correct. And I think we don't give space, like, for when an animal passes. I'm thinking about one of my employees. She had one of her beloved cats that passed, and she was devastated. Like, I have never seen her that upset. And I was like, please go home. Please go call Lindsay in Autumn and get some, like, like, she needs to be part of the soul revival community. Like, it's just like, you feel terrible because it's like, you can't give space when you're, in a professional environment for somebody to grieve or to have that moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry,
Yeah.
way off topic there, but you're right.
Not off topic at all. And because I think you're 100% right. I mean, just as a society in general, the workplace is part of it. We need to be
Yes,
having these conversations and opening things up for a complete rework.
yes.
Some company policies on grieving time is like generally pretty crazy,
One day for an aunt, one
Yeah.
day for
Or a
this.
week for a spouse. Like
Right.
it's mind blowing. And also recognizing what works for one person won't work for another person.
So
So
true.
one person might want to deep dive into work as a distraction, another
Yeah.
person might need that space. So just normalizing these conversations is
Yes.
so important.
Especially, you're right, in the workplace. I remember when my brother passed and he committed suicide, and we had, like, I was only given 5 days, and it was, I mean, we had to go plan. I mean, it was unexpected, and it was so tragic and terrible for the family. And then to be like, oh, guess what? You're on call. Like, it's just like, there's no space for you to be a human and to have this experience. And then it's like, get back to work. Like, it was just, wow. That, like, when you look back on it, you're just like, wow, I would never treat somebody like that now. Like, if that were to happen, take as much time as you need. It is what it is. Like, they'll come back to you when they need to. Like, it's just a job, guys. Autumn, you
Yeah.
look like
With
you're
deep
very serious. But
appreciation.
yes, yes. Autumn looks very serious. Autumn.
Oh, I'm just thinking how we need to break out of that box. I feel like
Boom.
everyone is meant to, or the society puts us in this box that no one can thrive or live in. And I feel that it's a mission in my heart to
Yeah.
break down that box because the box doesn't fit anymore, and I don't like that shape anyways.
And I think that's why it's so important that, the name of your community is the Soul Revival. It's going back to the soul, and it's going back to within. It's going back to the healing. And let me provide you with these tools. I mean, you guys have shadow work, grief transformation, inner child healing. I mean, you offer a gamut of, like a thread. I can pull on this thread. I might need this, but maybe in 6 months, I'm going to need this red thread, and that's going to help me. And I love the fact that you guys are bringing in healers and your own amazing expertise, and really, like, you've gone through this also. So you're empathetic to the person's journey that is coming into your group. You can identify, like, okay, I'm feeling this from this person. And, you can really relate to them on a soul level, which is so, so important. And I think that's why this community is going to thrive and continue to grow and grow and grow, because it's what we need right now. We have a loneliness epidemic. We don't know how to socialize with each other issue. We have a people are media brainwashing us issue. Like it's just there's so many things on a human level that's interfering with our soul growth, and I really respect the fact that the two of you have come together and your energy does blend very well together. It's very lovely. It's like, wow, they must have spent a lot of lifetimes together. Like it's very lovely, and it's just beautiful. And to really like I love it. I really respect what you guys are doing 100%. Anything else you two want to add? I have a final question, but anything else you guys want to add before I ask you both the final question? The final question.
It's all you, Rachel. I'm loving this conversation.
You guys are the best. So, what is one practical piece of advice or spiritual tool you each would recommend for someone who's currently navigating grief, uncertainty, or awakening for the first time?
I'll go first. I'll take the mic. Rachel, meditation. I think that everyone should take the time to meditate the way that they need to. That could be sitting in silence for 5 minutes. That could be driving with the radio off and just letting, your mind silence itself from all of the distractions and the constant go, go, go mentality. Meditating bounced me forward. I mean, it really helped me create a space between my trigger and response time. And I think that us humans need that right now because we're constantly dodging everything that's coming at us. And meditation can be like, oh, that doesn't even need to affect me. You can just swap that one out or swap that one out. But without meditation, it's really hard to know which ones are there for you and your highest good, and which ones are just not even worth paying attention to.
I love that answer. And Lindsay?
I love that as well. And since Autumn said meditation, which is definitely on my short list of things I recommend to clients, um, I would say journaling, especially if you are on a grief journey. Journal, 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 because journaling helps you in so many ways. It helps you tap into the energy of trust. It helps you tap into the energy of gratitude. It is something that you can come back to. So I literally every single day, I write down the date, I write down the angel numbers I got, I write down the signs I got, I write down dream visits that I received, and I keep it next to my bed or in my bathroom so that I can write them as soon as I wake up, because you lose things if you wait too long. But journaling is huge because it does all the things. Like it taps us into, like I said, gratitude, openness, but it also takes you back to truth. When
Mm.
you have those dark rabbit hole moments that we've talked about during this recording, it takes you back to the core truth that we are so much more than these physical meat suits. And you can tap into that loving, expansive energy from the other side and all that they have available to you. So journaling is mine.
I love it. I love to journal. I do write out their morning pages every day. It's from the Artist's Way. And she talks about doing your morning pages to get you to the other side of like where your mind is to get you to where your heart can be more open. So I love that. Meditate and journal. I want to thank you both, Lindsay and Autumn from the Soul Revival community, for coming on the Spiritual Spotlight series. I can't wait to have you both on again. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
Having us.